Hi guys, I'm Dr. Leif Smith. Today I want to talk about a stress hack that I believe is an important one that's really going to help you in your life because it's going to help you undo the single worst habit that you have in your entire life. Okay, so the single worst habit that you have, and you can argue with me in the comments if you want, but I believe this is the worst habit you have, and it centers around that voice in your head. Now, specifically, how negative that voice in your head is, and the fact that you listen to it as if it's a guiding light in your life. It's not. That voice in your head, I've talked about it in a lot of other videos, it is destructive. It is entirely based and slanted towards the negative in your life. You have been listening to it and letting it run the show for way too long in your life. It's time to stop that. Okay, so now that we've established this is the single worst habit you have, I want to put a name to it. I call that voice in my head the heckler. I actually call it a different name, but it's not safe for work and it's not safe for YouTube. Okay? But that voice in our heads, that negatively slanted voice, that voice that's never happy, you call it the heckler. It continuously runs 24/7. And it's always slanted towards the negative, right? So you've got to keep this in mind. Now, why is it a bad thing? Why is this the single worst habit you have? Well, because it runs unchecked in your life as if it's talking or speaking facts, right? If you're like me, that voice is always ruining the good things in your life. You feel good about yourself, and the voice says something like, yeah, but tomorrow you'll screw up, or this is the only time you've done well at this, or they'll find out that you're an idiot tomorrow, right? So that voice in our head, and I've got other videos about it specifically. I don't want to get too much into that, but that negative voice that's continually going on and on and on in your head is doing more damage than you think because you're letting it just run unchecked. It's a program that's always running in the background, and it's determining the quality of your life, the quality of your mental health, okay? So I wrote down here, so I'm going to look over here, some of the consequences over time. You doubt yourself more than you should in everything, across all contexts. You have a life that's based out of fear and making decisions based out of reactive, fear-based mindsets, right? So everything is guided by what you're scared of because of this voice. Anxiety. You wonder why your anxiety is high? Well, it's probably because your negative voice in your head is running unchecked all the time. So it's creating this artificial reality for you where you're not good enough. And so, of course, you're going to feel anxious about that. Over time, you're not going to take risks when you're doubting yourself and when you're scared all the time and everything is a worst case scenario. You're not going to take the risks you need to succeed. Okay? And finally here, and this is a big one, you're constantly going to lack self-confidence when you listen to this voice. That is a serious problem in your life over the long haul. Okay? So we've established that. Here's some negative consequences. That's why you need to get rid of it. Okay? Very important. So this is a quick video on mental health or stress hacks that actually work. So let's get to what is the solution here if this is such a bad habit. I'm going to give you a two-part solution, okay? And I want you to work on it. And if you've done this before, or if you've seen my other videos, leave a comment below so that I'll know, hey, other people are trying this stuff out. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is, drum roll, increase your awareness of when that voice gets the loudest. Okay. So what we've got to do is start tracking the situations in your life, the contexts in your life, where the negative voice, where the heckler is doing all the damage. I was just talking with a client this morning about it. And for him, he's a college guy. He's a college athlete. He was talking about his sport was a big one, his social life, right, was a big one, and his academic and school. Those are the three big contexts in which that negative voice is running the show. Unabated, okay? So we were talking about it. Now, every time he goes into a social situation, I want him to first stop and think about it. Think, okay, this is one of those triggers for the heckler. This is one of those situations when I meet someone and I'm having a good conversation. Let's say he's talking to a young lady, right? That's when that voice is going to start talking and being loud and being negative. And it's going to say, she's not into you, dude. She doesn't like you. She's going to see how incompetent you are. You're totally undateable, right? The voice is just going to keep going. That heckler's just going to keep going. I want him to be aware of that he's heading into a situation where the heckler's going to be very pronounced, okay? And he's got 3 such situations that he's going to look at. I want you to look in your life. What are the situations where, the context where that heckler gets the loudest, okay? For me in my life, it's career. I know I have days where that heckler is screaming about how incompetent I am. Or right now, about how nobody's going to watch this video and nobody's going to care and everybody's going to think I'm a buffoon. That's one of the contexts in which it's doing that. Marriage, which is a very important part of my life. Parenting, very important part of my life, okay? My athletic career, right? I've always been an athlete. Those are 4 of the contexts in which the heckler tries to run the show. Now, if you're not aware of something, you can't change it. So we've got to keep that in mind. So awareness is the first step in changing this habit. The second step, okay, and you got to wait until you get past this first step. The second step is going to be to challenge those thoughts, okay? You've got to challenge the assumptions that you're incompetent, that you're stupid, that you're dumb, that you're undateable, that you're unlovable, that you're incompetent at work, that you're a fraud. You've got to challenge those thoughts. If you don't, then they become the reality under which you live, okay? That's not a good reality. You need to challenge them. And here's how you do it. Ask yourself, once you're aware and you catch them, you catch that thought, that negative thought, that heckling thought, ask yourself, where's the evidence? Where's the evidence that I'm incompetent, right? Where's the evidence that nobody's going to watch this video on YouTube, right? Even if it only gets 32 views, which is more than likely, right? Even if it only gets 32 views, it's still 32 views. That doesn't mean nobody watched it. It means 32 times somebody watched it, right? It's a silly example, but it's proof, right? Yeah, it's not true that nobody watches it. Now, maybe millions of people didn't watch it yet, but that's not true. So when that heckler says stuff like that, I have evidence to the contrary. Okay? I do not have evidence that nobody's ever going to watch this video. I do not have evidence that I'm an idiot. I have all those degrees back there on the wall that prove I'm not as dumb as I look. Okay? You need to do this in your life too. So when you catch these negative heckling thoughts in these certain situations that you'll identify, catch them and challenge them. Where's the evidence? Here's what you're going to find. There is no good evidence. There's certainly not enough evidence that it's going to be admissible in court. Okay? So that's the quick mental health or stress hack for the day. And I want you to grab that and I want you to run with it. Leave a comment below. Let me know how it works for you. I'm Dr. Leif Smith. I'm so appreciative that you're stopping by and watching my little video here. You don't realize how much that means to me. But thank you for being a part of my community, and I'll see you in my next video.